Football Fridays overtime show powered by State Champs. On the other side of a break, we'll take you all around the state. We'll have highlights of the game that you watched with Evan and Rob bringing it to you from West Bloomfield. Football Fridays overtime around the corner on Bally Sports. This is Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs and presented to you by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Well, it has been a very eventful night in southeastern Michigan as it relates to high school football, and to us and to you. John Keating and Lauren Plant with you as we welcome you to Football Fridays Overtime. You've been watching the game between West Bloomfield and Cass Tech, and here's what we know right now as it's been expressed to us by the West Bloomfield police. As the game was going on in the final stages with about 6.5 minutes to go, Cass Tech had just scored another touchdown and someone outside the stadium yelled, "Gun." As it turns out, police investigated. There was no gun that was found, but it led to the panic, and you saw the West Bloomfield kids racing off the field, and a lot of family and friends doing likewise. They are going to continue the game with Cass Tech winning 38-13 and about 6 minutes left in that game. But our production has been shut down. The game will be continued, but with only parents in the stands to watch the conclusion of this one. So an unfortunate series of events in West Bloomfield tonight, but that's the latest that we know. Again, Cass Tech leading West Bloomfield 38-13. A big night for Sean Hodges. And unfortunately, this one will end without you getting a chance to see the end of it because someone did something that they shouldn't have done on the outskirts of the stadium at West Bloomfield. So that's what we know right now. And with that, let's show you some football, shall we? Let's get it going right off the bat. Here's the best thing that our cameras caught throughout the state tonight. Trenton's Austin Toth would make an amazing athletic play, bringing the deep ball in from Ty Norgren en route to a 34-27 victory over Southgate Anderson earlier tonight. We have zigzagged the state to find some of the best games in as many divisions as we could get to. And let's continue now as we go no huddle with one of the top matchups in Division One. A battle between a pair of MAC red foes. Chippewa Valley traveled to Romeo. The finish of the night, Romeo trying to claw their way back into it very late in the game. Tyler Pressel bullying in from 3 yards out. That cut the lead to 1. The Bulldogs decided to go for 2 with the game on the line. They give it to Pressel, and the conversion try was good. That gave Romeo the lead and the win, 22-21. What a finish there.
Yeah. How about this game between Garden City and Dearborn? Divine Child in Division 4. Divine Child quarterback Robert Leyland hands the ball back to Sean McCormick. The senior wideout bombs it 40 yards to Liam Young, who beats the defense, takes this one in for the score. Divine Child puts down Garden City 26-12.
All right, let's get you to some scores from tonight. Again, football first-round playoff action all across the state of Michigan, and some of these scores you have seen, but they are important to obviously every football team and every fan base around the state of Michigan. As mentioned, Brighton losing big to Grand Ledge. What a win for Grand Ledge in round one in Division One. It was South Lyon over South Lyon East. Trenton squeezed past Southgate Anderson by a 34-27 final. There's the Detroit Catholic Central win over Dearborn. It was De La Salle big over Grosse Pointe South, and Martin Luther King handled River Rouge by a 41-28 final tonight in round one of the playoffs.
Yes, the defending champs in D3 begin another run. We've got a lot of other scores going on around the state tonight. Madison Heights Lamphere takes care of business, 49-13 over Marysville. Negaunee with a 48-0 win in Division 6 over Houghton. That one in the UP. Traverse City St. Francis is a really good Division 7 football team. They beat Lance tonight 59-8. Detroit Country Day over Southeastern 28-8. The final. Detroit Country Day now in Division 5, so that's notable. Boyne City losing to Manistee 28-27. They were ahead in that one. And those highlights are coming up. Montrose beating Cass City 28-14 in Division 7. All right, so we are going to start with arguably one of the best first-round matchups of the night. Now, many believe that whichever team won tonight's Division III matchup between River Rouge and Detroit Martin Luther King, well, they would be in the driver's seat as the favorite to be this year's Division III state champion. Now, these two are no strangers when it comes to meeting in the postseason. Third time in the last 5 years, to be exact. King won a year ago, while Rouge won in 2020. We know, it's a travesty. This game is in the first round. Here's the thing. Why delay the inevitable? Weather's good. Let's go.
The greatest leaders and the greatest warriors, when they would travel, especially across water, right? When they would travel across water, they would burn their ships when they got to where they were going. They would burn their ships. Why? Because the only way back was to take their shit. You know what I'm saying? The only way back to the crib was to take what they built, to take what was theirs, and go back home. That was the only way to the crib. No cap. I'm trying to tell y'all today, bro. We done came across the water. We done went through some mountains. We done had some peaks. We done been in some valleys on the way here. No cap. But we done got to the kingdom now, bro. Yeah. We done got to Queen. And we cannot go back because we burned our shit. Only way we go back is taking theirs. Oh, yeah.
Can I get a witness? Believe it or not, both Detroit King and River Rouge riding two-game losing streaks coming into this one. King losing to Cass Tech and Cincinnati Moeller, Rouge to De La Salle and Southfield A&T respectfully. Something had to give. Home team on the board first. Dante Moore finds a wide-open Sterling Anderson Jr. He scurries 7 yards to the crib. Didn't take long, though, for Rouge to respond. Senior Markel Gifford punches it in from a few yards out. That evened the score at 7. Dante Moore, the defending Mr. Football. He holds the title, finds Cameron Broadnax cutting back to an open field. 30 yards on the play. King led 14-7 after the first quarter. Rouge looking to even things up. Davion Hill, he's going to keep it, forcing his way across the goal line. Great push from up front. We were tied again at 14. Now, King's Anderson Jr. going to keep it on the ground this time. Catapults his way into the end zone from 2 yards out. He's got an offer from Eastern Kentucky. Crusaders up 7, but not for long. Broadnax with the ball. Finds a gap then, afterburners. The big gain set up the Panthers for another score. Miss PAT, King on top, 21-20. King would tack on one more before the half. Moore connects with Damon Stennis. Hangs on to this one under duress. Good call because he did break the plane. Crusaders led 28-20 at the half, and that score held through the third. Fourth quarter now. Moore going side on. Tight window like butter. Stennis puts King up 34-20. Then Rouge, a little pass player of their own. Mikhail McDowell slings a 50-50 ball. The tight end Johnny Green with it. Trucks his way in. That shrunk the lead to 34-28, but King still on top of the mountain. Anderson Jr. rumbles his way to the sideline. Is it live or is it Memorex? Third touchdown on the night. King defeats River Rouge for the second straight season, 41-28 the final.
Well,
Rouge, very tough, man. I mean, I thought we knew they wanted to come and pound the ball, and we knew they had great outside receivers. So we knew it was going to be a struggle on how to, stay balanced with it. We just had to find a way to be consistent. We had a couple stops when we needed it, and offense just played their butts off, man. They came down there, scored a lot of points for us, and that's what we needed, man. I'm really proud of the way these guys played, the way the seniors went out today.
Yeah, the first step along the way. Job one in a high school football season is getting here. Props to the 256 teams who have, but then the job gets trickier. It gets stickier. This is the 9th season in a row that the Trenton Trojans have reached the postseason. In the prior 8, they've only made it past the first round 3 times. Southgate Anderson made their way to the playoffs for only the second time since 2011, and the only other was in 2020 when everybody made the postseason. These two teams meeting tonight in the first round in Division III.
They're getting ready to play Carlson. They're overlooking us, and that's a big mistake. Last team that overlooked us walked home losing, right? We are ready to go tonight. I've never, ever been so disrespected to a guy to text me and ask me about film for their next week's opponent. Or to come on our field, week 2, and use our stuff in our end zone, all right? That is garbage, and we are going to take it to them tonight, you understand? Yes, sir. Play together, play as a family, and let's go take it to them. Let's go.
Sunset. Southgate Anderson on the road visiting Trenton. As we head into the action, Trenton would get out to an early lead as Nathan Arenello would break free for the first score of the game. He'll find his way to pay dirt there. Southgate will answer quickly. Quarterback Jackson Sage fakes the handoff, and even the cameraman's kind of fooled on this one as Sage would put their first 6 on the board. Still in the first, Ty Norgren would heave a ball downfield to his man Austin Toth would bring this one down with authority. Trenton would lead 14-6. The back and forth would continue as Southgate Anderson would also look to air the ball out. This one, it's senior wideout Colin Thomas bringing in the score and evening the score at 20 apiece going into the half. Oregonello would make his presence felt again, this time with a minute left in the third. A pitch from Norgren. He would take it 29 yards to the house. The Trojans would take a 7-point lead into the fourth quarter, and they would win it by 7. The final, 34-27. So Trenton advances into round 2 of the football playoffs in the state of Michigan. And there you see the brackets that we have right now. You see Trenton will meet Gibraltar Carlson in the next round. Ahead of them, it's Jackson and Mason. They'll meet in the district final, and below them, Walled Lake Western will take on Bloomfield Hills' Brother Rice, who got past Avondale. And then it's Allen Park and Detroit Martin Luther King in the final bracket on the bottom of the page there.
And just a quick note here, Gibraltar Carlson Trenton co-champions of the Downriver League, so they're going to go at it again. In fact, Gibraltar Carlson, the only team to beat Trenton this season, so that'll be interesting. And then, of course, Brother Rice and Walled Lake Western should be interesting. Brother Rice only with 3 wins this season coming into the playoffs. Now they have 4. All right, well, here's what's happening in Division 3. And this is the top of the bracket, as we've been discussing here. And Mount Pleasant with a win. DeWitt expected victory. They move on. Fenton and Linden will meet. Those are rivals. Muskegon having an unbelievable season. They just waxed Mona Shores in week 9.
Yeah.
So they'll take on Coopersville. Zeeland West is another team. In fact, I think Muskegon's got the best chance to get to Ford Field, but Zeeland West is going to, what I believe will be the one hurdle they'll have to jump over.
All right, we're happy just to be delivering scores and highlights and brackets and whatnot to you in light of what happened in West Bloomfield again tonight. That game is continuing with only family members in attendance. The stadium has been evacuated. Our production was stopped. It was 38-13. Cass Tech on top of West Bloomfield when we left there. We'll update that score as Football Fridays overtime on Bally Sports continues.
Yeah.
We've got more ahead. Stay with us. We've just kicked off this edition of Football Fridays. Plenty of playoff action to bring you from all the different divisions all over the state of Michigan on a Friday night in late October and here on Bally Sports. Welcome back to our Football Fridays Overtime studio. Again, it's John Keating and Lauren Plant with you. And here is a further update from what happened in West Bloomfield. As we understand it, there was a car that backfired in the parking lot at West Bloomfield High School as Cass Tech and West Bloomfield were playing in a first-round playoff game. It was Cass Tech having just scored, made 38-13. The car backfired. That led someone to yell gun. That led to the panic that forced the players to run off the field, along with some family members as well. That led the police presence to invade the football field at West Bloomfield High School. Everybody is fine. everybody's fine. That's the message that we're trying to make sure that everybody knows here. They have resumed play, and we're just told that game has gone final. They played the final 6.5 minutes with only family members in attendance. It has just gone final. Cass Tech beat West Bloomfield by a 38-13 final. Again, an abundance of caution, I think, led them to take all the players off the field and to finish the game with just family members in attendance. Everybody was fine. There was no violence. There was no firearm.
Right.
But it was, as you mentioned, it's something that has been experienced, and I think it's the world in which we live these days that everybody's nerves are right on edge.
Shouting fire in a crowded room is kind of, you can get panic when something may happen. Somebody hears something and, they do what's natural to them. In this case, they ran, and the teams ran off the field.
Yeah.
Again, a similar situation I mentioned before when it was Brother Rice and Cass Tech at the PKC. We had fireworks going off at Comerica Park. This was one of the first PKCs at Wayne State. I don't think people were used to hearing bang booms and somebody from not even on the field started running, and it kind of started to panic. And they do everything that they need to do. People, again, weren't hurt in that event. They're not hurt here. We didn't have mass panic. We just had people getting out of there pretty quick.
Okay. Everybody's fine. 38-13. The final. Cass Tech over West Bloomfield.
We'll have highlights.
Yeah.
Great win.
All right. Let's get back to football. It was just 3 weeks ago when Chippewa Valley and Romeo met in our game of the week here on Bally Sports Detroit. It was a tight game throughout, but it was the Romeo Bulldogs who eventually came away with a 21-17 victory. Tonight, a first-round rematch. Could Chippewa Valley get its revenge?
You owe it to yourself to play your best football game ever. You owe it to your teammates to play your best football game ever. And the way you do that is to outwork everybody that's not wearing a white jersey tonight. They're wearing black, it does not matter. They are not getting anything from you but a hard time tonight. You owe it to them. They deserve your best game. Yes, sir. They already proved they can beat you. You gotta prove that you can beat them. You gotta show them this is our game. From the first kickoff, defense is hot. Yeah!
The defensive coordinator reminding everybody what happened earlier this season. It's our Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers matchup of the night. First quarter, the pass intended for Shamar Hurd, but the ball is knocked up. Alex Angelo with a big hit. Victor Earl for Romeo collected the interception, and he'll go 70 yards the other way for the first score of the game. The Bulldogs up 7-0. What a titanic hit that was. Chippewa Valley would answer on the first play in the second quarter. Andrew Schuster will find Kalen Shaw here wide open, 25 yards for the score, and they were tied at 7. Less than 4 minutes to go in the half. Senior Clement Krasnicki takes the handoff and burst into the end zone from a couple of yards out, and the Big Red were leading 14-7. But before the end of the half, Romeo's Anthony Lamikoski with a rushing touchdown of his own to even the score once again, 14-14, and at the break, the same quarter after the third quarter as well. It came down to the fourth, and Chippewa Valley would strike first, less than a yard away from pay dirt, and it was Krasnicki again. There would be some debate, but finally they signaled the touchdown. The Big Red leading 21-14, but what a finish. Romeo needed to answer. The handoff goes to Tyler Pressel. He'll run it in for the 3-yard score. That made it 21-20 with the extra point to come. But the Bulldogs decide to go for the 2 and the win. The game on the line. The handoff once again goes to Pressel, and he gets in. Romeo with the lead 22-21. That would be the final in this one. What a first-round playoff game.
At that point, we were missing some plays that we were so close on in the first half. And, the guys were in the right spot. We just needed to execute a little bit better. So the good news was it was a tie game, and we hadn't played perfect yet. And it was going to take some guys to step up a little, bring a little extra in the second half, and that's what happened.
All right, well, let's stay in Division I. The 7-2 Dearborn Pioneers are in the postseason for the 3rd straight season. First time the Pioneers have achieved that feat since they did it back in 2010 through 2012. Now, they haven't lost since the early season defeats to Belleville and Livonia Franklin. But up first in the playoffs, 6-2 Detroit Catholic Central, who finished 6th in the state in our final state champ Super 20 rankings. Interesting note is that just hours before the matchup was announced right here on the selection show, both schools agreed to home-and-home matchups in the 2023 and 2024 seasons. Now, CC was the road team tonight, but that's where they've shined all season long, beating the likes of Davison, Brother Rice, Cincinnati, LaSalle, and others. To Dearborn we go.
Perennial power, one of the best teams in the state, program rich on tradition. But this ain't a freaking history class. This is football. That's great. They got history. We got right now. And my question is, why the hell not us? Why not us? You made the sacrifice. Now the bell's ringing. We're going to come out of our corner throwing punches all night. Yeah! We're going to win. We're coming to Newark to win the game.
Wow. Truly his words to their ears, because this was a good one. Dearborn looking for only their 3rd playoff win over the past 10 years. This, the first time in school history the Pioneers have faced Detroit Catholic Central. Shamrocks looking for back-to-back trips to the district finals. Make no bones about it, this game could have gone either way. Dearborn would start this one off with a keeper from quarterback Adam Salle as he put the Pioneers up 7. Catholic Central would step up on defense as quarterback Jack Davis picks off Salle and brings the ball back for a solid return. This defensive spark would be just what the doctor ordered as Brady Blakita would take the pass from Bo Jackson, put the defense on skates as he'll take it all the way to the paint. Catholic Central took a 16-4 lead. Defense played a big role on both sides in this game. This time, Dearborn's Ali Al-Murray forcing a fumble. Pioneers would recover. Dearborn would take the lead as Julian Hamada would bring one in from Salah to give his team the lead late in the game. But Catholic Central's offense proved to be too much. Evan Hager taking it to the house for the final score of the game. Detroit CC wins this nail-biter 22-21. All right, so we're going to take a look now at the Division I brackets. And here they are. We've got Regions 1 and 2 for you. Here are the teams that have advanced so far that we know of. Still waiting on Caledonia Granville. Rockford wins. They win big. And Rockford really one of the class of the upper bracket. Grand Ledge beats Brighton. That's a shocker. You'll see those highlights. Yeah. And Holt over Heartland. Davison, playing some of the best football these last several weeks. They're going to get a rematch with Clarkston coming up. Rochester, Adams, and Rochester. The battle of the city will take place also for the district title.
All right, let's... The Brighton Bulldogs were off to the best start in school history. A perfect record through the first 8 weeks of the season. That came to an end last week when they ran into the #1 Belleville Tigers and beat them 42-3 to end the regular season. Tonight, a new season starts as they hosted Grand Ledge in that Division I first-round matchup.
The state playoffs, this is where your legend status grows. One and done, or you make the run. But it all is going to start right here tonight. These cats came down here, they want to play football. And we're ready. You know who the opponent is, you know who the enemy is, you got to take it to them. There's no ride home, fellas. Defend your ground. Let's go. Yeah! Let's go.
But Grand Ledge, the road team, would get on the board first. Sean Foster will take the snap. He'll fake pitch, absorb the contact, and weave his way through a hard-fought score. That'd be the trend of the night. Foster patient at the line all night long. He'll find a gap and find some pay dirt here. The Comets would lead 19-0 at the half. Second half, nothing changed. Foster rolling to his left through the pile. Sean Foster would finish the night with 188 yards on the ground, and the Comets upset the Brighton Bulldogs tonight by a 38-3 final.
I gotta be honest with you. You guys know me, right? Seniors know me. I told you day one, I'd always be honest with you. I gotta be honest with you. You can ask Mrs. Bryant home, man. I was more nervous about this game than the whole season, right? But guess what? Man, never count you guys out. Never count you guys out. You're ready to play, right? You play together. We talked about it yesterday at practice. What's that one thing I can do, right? How many of you guys did that one thing tonight? How many of you guys got out there and played and you didn't even think that you were gonna play? But you made it 10 weeks, right, to get his moment, right? Okay? You guys remember this, man. Coach Shellhammer said it to me best last week.
Kicking off post-game for the Marching 200 is Metallica's Master of Puppets.
Great job.
Man, those faces. How do you not love those faces?
Incredible, man.
All right, here's the Division I bracket in regions 3 and 4. It was Belleville advancing. They will meet Saline, Northville, and Detroit Catholic Central. The next bracket down, there's the win for Detroit Cass Tech. Southfield A&T and Troy will play tomorrow. Macomb Dakota has advanced. They got past Utica Eisenhower, and it's Romeo by virtue of their win over Chippewa Valley, advancing to the second round of the football playoffs. And we're staying in Division I. The Northville Mustangs, who handled rival Novi tonight, will host Catholic Central for a district title. Kickoff from Northville is set for 7:30 next Friday here on Bally Sports Detroit Extra.
And we've got a scintillating segment coming next. Playoff pigskin from Division 5, 6, and 7 will go way north to Negaunee, then way back down to Detroit Country Day, which is right up the road from the comfy confines we're in now. Football Fridays OT, powered by State Champs, back before you know it.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is brought to you by Legacy Football, the #1 football development program in Michigan. And by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Week 1 in the state football playoffs, and we take you to Country Day, home to Detroit Southeastern tonight. The Jungleers of Southeastern up against the Yellow Jackets. We'll start the highlights in the second quarter after a scoreless opening frame. Chase Dawkins for the handoff to Graham Dowman, and he runs the long way. 36 yards for the icebreaker in this one, 7-0. It would remain that way until there were only seconds on the scoreboard before the end of the first half. Dawkins again, this time through the air. Gabe Zeldis on the other end of that one for the touchdown. Country Day led 14-0 at the half, and they would win this one by a final of 28-6. 28-8, make that.
Give him a few more.
All right, now you see the Division 5 brackets in regions 3 and 4. And there you see Frankenmuth advances. They will face Saginaw, Swan Valley, Marine City, and Flint Hamady have a date in round 2. Flat Rock, sorry about that, will advance as well. And there's the win over Country Day. All of those teams advancing into the second round, and they will play in the district final. Top half of the bracket in Division 5, Regions 1 and 2. Gladwin will meet Kingsford next weekend. Muskegon Oak Ridge advances. They got past Shepherd. They'll meet Belding next week. And there you see Grand Rapids Catholic Central with a win over advancing to, they will meet Berrien Springs in the next round, having defeated Kalamazoo Hackett. And there is Portland and Corunna who will advance and meet in the second round of the playoffs as well in Division 5.
Well, you know, John, in the Upper Peninsula, the #1 team, the Negaunee Miners, are 9-0. They recently swept all the regular season special awards, first team awards, or 14 of the first team awards, and again, averaging 41 points a game while only giving up 7. They faced a Houghton team tonight that qualified for the playoffs for the first time since 2013. So the Gremlins with a first taste of the playoffs in almost a decade, and their work cut out for them. Negaunee defeated Houghton 48-zip just 2 weeks ago. But look on the bright side. They had a lot of tape of what not to do. So a Division 6 district opener in the UP, the undefeated Negaunee Miners, so dominant this season. Just 2 teams got to within 25 points taking on Houghton.
Look at that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Miners starting strong in this one. Quarterback Ty Jacobson running right with defenders bearing down on him. Pitches it to Kai LeClaire, takes it the rest of the way, even runs away from the camera. 33 yards to put Negaunee up 7-0. We're going to move now to the second, 14-0 now. Negaunee knocking on the door. The handoff goes to the running back, Nico Lukarainen. He bounces off one defender, then another, falls into the end zone. Miners up 20-0. 6 minutes to go in the first half. It's Kai LeClaire again, and he is barely touched as he will stride in for his second TD of the night. That put Negaunee up 28-0. They end up cruising in this one. The final score over Houghton, 48-0. No, it is not deja vu. All right, we leave the UP now, but we don't head too far south, just back across the bridge. As a matter of fact, where the Boyne City Ramblers wrapped up their first 9-0 regular season since 2017. They welcomed in the 6-3 Manistee Chippewas for a Division 6 first-round matchup.
Hewitt, right around. Good cutback, and he scores!
Wow.
What a cutback!
That's an awesome cut.
It's going to come this way. Yeah,
Roll out
little
this
reverse,
side.
little reverse. Here comes Hewitt, and they're going to throw it! Touchdown, Manistee! 1st and 10. Joey McHugh, touchdown Ramblers!
3rd down, 3rd and goal.
Well, it's a two-down territory here, no question, but... Touchdown, Gavin Hewitt! What a throw by Mason Wilcox! Are you kidding me?
He got it.
Are you kidding me? And look at this. Going for 2 and the win. Going for 2 here. This is a huge call. Huge call. This is the game right here. And that's it. Does not get the pass off.
Wow, you get props for going for 2.
Yeah.
Anytime with as much on the line as is on the line. And there you see the Division 6 brackets. Negaunee getting past Houghton. They'll meet Menominee in the second round. Gladstone and Elk Rapids will play tomorrow. The winner of that game will play Manistee in round 2. Reed City will take on Muskegon Catholic Central. And it's Millington against Standish Sterling in round 2 of the Division 6 playoff.
All right, let's see what's happening at the bottom half of the bracket. Grand Rapids West Catholic, well, they are the class of this division. They're expected to continue to roll as they did tonight. They'll take on Constantine, though, next. And Lansing Catholic and Ovid Elsie will meet next week for a division championship. Clinton waiting on the winner of tomorrow's E-Course and Detroit Voyager College Prep. Madison Heights Bishop Foley having probably their best season.
Go Ventures! Go Ventures!
In the state champs era. They are playing unbelievable football. They will wait. The winner of Warren, Michigan Collegiate, Detroit Northwestern. Warren, Michigan Collegiate were finalists a year ago and probably the best charter football program this state has ever seen.
I'm a proud Bishop Foley graduate, so I couldn't resist.
All right.
Moving on to Division 7 now. What we know to be true is that there are varying degrees of perfection, and the tippy top is rarely reached. Since 2015, Traverse City St. Francis has finished the regular season a perfect 9-0 5 times. That's the good news. The bad news is that they don't have a single state championship to show for it, losing once in the finals and 4 times in the semis. Tonight, they began their quest to end that streak as they hosted the Lance Purple Hornets. Up north to Traverse City, picking up with St. Francis already up 7-0. Senior Burke Flowers will take the punt return outside, and he'll return this 42 yards for his second touchdown of the quarter. That put the Gladiators up 14-0, and it gave you a sense as to what kind of a night it was going to be. Special Teams does it again. This time, Flowers will field the punt and then hand it off. The teammate, senior Jack Pritchard, he'll take it down the sideline into the end zone. A 55-yard score here. The Gladiators go up 21-0. The Glads were not done. And senior Ty Martinchek will take it in from 3 yards out, scoring his first varsity touchdown of the process. Way to go, Ty. And making the score 28-0. And the defense said, hey, what about us? They would add to the rout. Senior Joey Donahue would force the fumble and fall on it in the end zone to help St. Francis go up 35-0. St. Francis of Traverse City would go on to win the game by a 59-8 final.
What a beautiful night there.
Yeah,
I mean, just gorgeous.
Let's head south now, down I-75 and into Montrose, where the Rams have reached the postseason for the 13th consecutive year. They welcome the Red Hawks from Cass City tonight. They're in the playoffs for the 9th straight season, so something had to give. Montrose defending their home turf against Cass City in this Division 7 matchup. Picked up this one in the second quarter. Montrose up 14-7. Zach O'Neill connects with junior receiver Brandon Horton on the screen pass. 40 yards down the field for the score. Montrose up by 13 at that point. Cass City would have to wait until the 4th to find the scoring touch again. Here's Landon Schott coming up just short of the goal line, but he would take the handoff and punch the ball in to cut their deficit to 6, taking it down to 1:40 left in the 4th. Owen Emmendorfer would take the ball and slip through a few defenders on his way to the end zone. The Rams would be up 26-14. They would convert on the 2-point pass from O'Neill to Michael Stevenson. The Montrose Rams take this one 28-14. That's the final in Montrose tonight. So here we go with the Division 7's brackets. There's the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators off their big win tonight. They'll get Benzie Central in round 2. They'll await the winner of Ithaca Lake City. Ravenna has already advanced into the second round. New Lothrop will be awaiting Pewamo Westphalia next week. And we showed you the Montrose Cass City score. Montrose will get Elkton, Pigeon, Bayport, Lake.
A lot of names.
Yeah, that's a lot of names. That's Division 7 in Regions 1 and 2. And now in Divisions 3 and 4, Lawton and Schoolcraft have a date. Jackson Lumen Christi will take on Hudsonville. There's Napoleon. They'll get the winner of Manchester and Grass Lake. Detroit Central advanced as well, and they'll get Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central in round 2.
Well, Garden City hasn't won a playoff game since the turn of the century. They look to end that 22-year streak tonight in Dearborn against Divine Child. Highlights of that game and a look at what happened in D4 tonight when the OT returns.
We keep it going. We take you to Division 4. Madison Heights Lamphere fired up looking for a redo against Marysville, who are responsible for one of the Rams' 2 losses this season, and the home team would start off strong. Marysville quarterback Noah LaValle on the run gets himself into a jam. The pass was tipped, but it fell into the hands of Lamphere's Nico Johnson. He had to fight off a teammate for that one. They take over. Ben Hernandez spinning his way through traffic for the short TD run. Lamphere up 7-0. The defense continued to make big plays. Hernandez scooping up the fumble. He'd punch it in for another score from short to add to the Rams' lead. Marysville with the ball now. Noah LaValle with a quick pitch to Ben LaValle, rolling to his left, and he'll rumble past everybody. 45-yard touchdown run to keep things interesting, but Lamphere takes to the air. Quarterback Aiden Grzykowski got a cannon. He'll chuck this one 65 yards to Samaj Ramsey, and the Rams would take this one 49-13 over Marysville.
Well, since the year 2000, the 6-3 Garden City Cougars have only made the playoffs a total of 4 times. 0 playoff wins during that time. The last postseason victory coming in their heyday of 98 and 99. In a Division 4 district tonight, GC took on 7-2 Divine Child, who had impressive wins over playoff teams Livonia Clarenceville and Notre Dame Prep. These two have only met once, the 2019 season opener, where the Falcons beat the Cougars 46-25. Let's see how this one played out. Of course, Dearborn Divine Child is the alma mater of Lions first-rounder Aiden Hutchinson, taking on the Garden City Cougars, entering only their 2nd playoff game since 2000. Cougars get off to a hot start. Star running back Owen McGraw receiving a pass out of the backfield, scooping this one up and using his agility to break through to the end zone. Cougars up 6. The Falcons not to be outdone in this one. A 43-yard bomb from Robert Lillane to a wide-open Liam Young that tied the game at 6. Later on, Lillane would take this one on his own. Falcons would take a 13-6 lead. Liam Young would make his presence known once again, this time as a result of the Falcons pulling out their bag of tricks. Handoff to Sean McCormick results in a 40-yard score for Young, his 2nd of the game. Garden City would put some numbers back on the board. This time, quarterback Nathan Wasil taking it on the keeper. 19-12 Divine Child. Finally in the 4th, the Falcons put the dagger in this one. Junior Tyler Traub taking it in. Divine Child takes this one 26-12. All right, so let's check out the brackets, see what's happening in Division 4. In Regions 3 and 4, Goodrich with a win tonight over Ortonville Brandon. They advance. Freeland over North Branch. That's an upset. North Branch, one of the best teams actually coming into Division 4. Madison Heights Lamphere getting it done. They're going to take on Orchard Lake St. Mary's, another team who only had 3 wins coming into the postseason. Riverview continues to roll. They beat Adrian tonight, and they will take on Tecumseh, who upset Carleton Airport tonight. Redford Union and Clarenceville, we're waiting on that one. And let's move over to 1 and 2. Whitehall is going to take on Fruitport in the district championship. Grand Rapids South Christian, who I think will win this division, will take on Hudsonville Unity Christian. I do.
Okay.
They're the only team that beat Grand Rapids Catholic Central this season. Edwardsburg and Niles will meet next week, as will Hastings and Charlotte. All right, guys, so as we take a look at the field right now in the State Champs Anvil Award, this update is brought to you by Hungry Howie's. These are the final 10 candidates, and, you know, we had a big showdown tonight as Cass-Tech's Jalen Thompson went up against West Bloomfield's Brandon Davis Swain and Amir Herring. Now, I brought up Senda because I want to take this time to talk about the voting in the competition and how it works. The voting will end on Monday, November 14th. The leading vote getter will get an automatic berth into the Final Four. He will then have a 20% chance to win the 2022 Anvil. That's over everyone else. So if you go to statechampsnetwork.com, click on the Vote for the Anvil banner on the homepage, you can see the criteria we use to choose the winner. It's the same for the Anvil as it is for the Mr. Football Award. When we analyze our Final Four, and if we have a deadlock as to who should win, and any one of those guys is the voting champion, that extra 20% puts them over the top. Now, Dylan Senda was leading the vote for the last several weeks, but that was before Clarkston's Kavanaugh Ditton got in the mix. Over 10,500 votes. Ditton now leads Senda by about a couple grand. Let's go DC Nation. If you want to ensure Senda makes the Final Four, you need to win the vote. Clarkston fans, I salute you.
It is election season after all.
Yes, sir.
The De La Salle Pilots have been the kings of Division II for the last couple of years. They went 8-1 in the regular season this year. They're primed for a third straight title. We'll check in on how they did tonight in their game against Grosse Pointe South when the Football Overtime Show continues in a second. Welcome back. We continue in Division II. South Lyon traveled to South Lyon East. They knew how to get there. East with the ball, and they run the halfback pass. Drew Moyer will find Jordan Newbill here. He goes out of bounds at the 9-yard line. That would set up a field goal to tie the game at 20. The game would go into double overtime. East would score first on a 4-yard dash, but they missed the extra point. Because South Lyon take advantage. The quarterback keep would tie the game. The kick was good. South Lyon edges South Lyon East by a 30-27 final in overtime.
Good win for the Lions, no doubt about it. All right, so Warren De La Salle was cruising along the first 3 weeks of the season until they met their Catholic League rival, Brother Rice, in week 4, who stunned the Pilots, beating them 43-42. A mere aberration, though, as head coach Dan Roan and his Pilots brushed that off and won their last 5 games with an average winning margin of 30 points, including another Catholic League championship with a 49-14 win over UD Jesuit. Tonight, they began their quest for their 3rd Division II state title in 4 years against 6-3 Grosse Pointe South. As we know, Wayne State, the home of Pilot football. De La Salle finished ranked 2nd in the state in our state champ Super 20 rankings. Grosse Pointe South winners of 6 of their last 7, including a 44-14 win last week over Grosse Pointe South. Pick it up in second quarter, 14-0 Pilots. Brady Grogosh, well, you saw it, to Tristan Nichols, so the score was 21-0. Later in the second, De La Salle going for it on 4th and 1. Rhett Rozier up the middle carries a couple of defenders with him as he falls into the end zone. That made it 28-0. We'll jump to the third. Pilots knocking on the door again. Dylan Trondle in at quarterback, and he's going to take advantage of his playing time, keeps it, runs it in for the score into the paint. De La Salle showing why they're the number 2 team in our rankings. They ran over Grosse Pointe South. 40-0 is your final in that one. So let's take a look at the brackets now. And again, in Division II, if you watched Extra Point, you know that I feel Warren De La Salle is the cream of the crop. In Division II, they should win another state championship. But in Regions 3 and 4, these are the teams I'll have to go through. Livonia Franklin advances with a win over Crestwood. They'll take on Temperance Bedford, who beat Farmington tonight. We'll have another Battle of Birmingham between Seaholm and Groves next week. Groves got the best of them in that first exchange just a week ago. Roseville and Warren de La Salle will meet for the district title. St. Clair Shores Lakeview will take on either Port Huron or L'Anse Creuse.
We've got more ahead. Highlights from the game tonight that had to be stopped. Sorry,
That's
Bob, you got another bracket to go. I apologize,
we'll
Lauren.
get there.
I apologize.
Let's give D2 some
Yeah.
more love. Let's find out what's happening in Region 1 and 2. Grand Rapids Forest Hills Central with a win over Muskegon Reese Puffer tonight. They'll take on Mona Shores. Mona Shore beating Traverse City Central, the team that got to the state finals last season. Portage Northern over Byron Center, so they advance. East Lansing's moving on. They're a good team. Look out for them. They may make some noise in that bracket. Midland beat Swartz Creek, so they are in the district title. Tilt, Waterford Mott, and Saginaw Heritage will get that one when it's done. Dexter and Milford. Dexter wins. Dexter, again, probably the class of that bracket. South Lyon, we saw it. They're moving on, but they've got a tough road to hoe versus the Dreadnoughts.
My turn now?
Yes.
My turn now. Highlights from the game that had to be stopped and then continued. Cass Tech and West Bloomfield highlights. A wild night in West Bloomfield. We'll have that story next as overtime continues.
Well, all right, guys, as I mentioned in our State Champs Anvil Award segment a few minutes ago, the State Champs Mr. Football race for 2022 has its final 10 candidates up for the award. These are the guys, and it is a talented group. Now, again, I mentioned before, your vote matters because the Samaj Morgan and Cole Cabana competition is as crazy as it gets. As of tonight at about 8:15, Cole Cabana had 40,625 votes. Samaj Morgan with 40,399 votes. Absolutely bonkers. Samaj losing tonight, so he is going to have to win the vote in order to get into the Final Four. Because, again, if we go through the criteria and we find ourselves locked on some guys, we look at how many votes did they get, what community came out and supported their player for Mr. Football. So it matters. Choosing the Final Four is going to be the toughest in years. Our top 10 is stacked. Guys who have been showing up and showing out all season. Go to statechampsnetwork.com and vote now.
One of the big stories tonight, Cass Tech traveling to West Bloomfield tonight to take on the Lakers, and that game was completed under very unusual, intense circumstances. With 6.5 minutes to go in the game, someone heard a noise. Someone heard a car backfire in the parking lot, and there were concerns about the potential for the fact that someone might have had a gun, and a lot of the players rushed off the field. Calm eventually ensued. There was a large police presence on the field. The game was completed with only family members in attendance. It was completed, but let's focus on the football here. Cass Tech against West Bloomfield, and on Bally Sports tonight, it went like this.
Play action. Nance evacuating the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, and throwing a pick. It was tipped by Sadler. It's intercepted by Graham. Looking for real estate. coming back to the near side. Alex Graham is still on his feet. An interception for the second straight week for the sophomore. Second down short. Hodges remains the back. Bloomfield keeps running right, and he's in untouched. Touchdown, Cass Tech. They'll try the middle with Jones. Amidst the rugby scrum, he is not in. Same play, and it works this time. Kenneth Jones with the powerful run. It's a West Bloomfield touchdown. Bloomfield with time, deep shot, Sadler's open. Corey Sadler, you're never gonna catch him. Touchdown Technicians.
He laid it right in there. Beautiful throw by LaShawn on that. I don't want to give all the love to one guy because that offensive line too.
It is a pooch kick for Cass Tech. You talk about pushing your chips to the table. That is Derek Jackson III, number 21, falling on the football. Cameron Summerall, the backup running back for Cass Tech. He's now in. They'll give it to the sophomore, who's running right with daylight into the end zone. Touchdown, Cass Tech again.
38-13 the final there. There were plenty of big moments around the state. We've collected as many as we can. We'll show you which one stood out above the rest. We present our game changer of the night when the OT continues.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. And by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands.
Time now for the DMC game changer of the night. It was this first touchdown for Romeo in their big matchup with Chippewa Valley. The big hit by Alex Angelo and the big pick six by Victor Earl. The Bulldogs would go on to win 22-21 with the help of a very late two-point conversion.
Hey guys, don't forget to join us next week as we will bring you a Division I district championship game from Northville as the Mustangs will host the Detroit Catholic Central Shamrocks. Kickoff from Northville is set for 7:30 p.m. right here on Bally Sports Detroit Extra. And of course, we'll be here immediately following the game with tons of district championship highlights on another edition of Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs.
So the first Friday is behind us, but not the first round. There are 7 playoff games tomorrow around the state. It only gets more interesting from here. For Lauren alongside, and Evan and Rubes and Natalie and all of us at Bally Sports, I'm John Keating. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody.
Happy Halloween!